fall. In fact, according to a new report, this latest decline in math was the biggest in the last 50 years. Let that sink in. Joining me now to help fill in the blanks, Adam Ellwanger, professor of English at the University of Houston and higher education fellow with Campus Reform. Also, Jackie Toberoff, author of the book Supermoms Activated. Welcome to you both. Adam, I'll start with you. Look, we've known for a while that there were problems in our public school system. Certainly, this was exacerbated by what happened during the pandemic, commonly referred to as learning loss. We have a national assessment that came out where we had 13-year-old students, according to the numbers. Average test score for 13-year-olds declined 9 points between 2019 and 2023. Average reading score for 13-year-olds declined 4 points between 2019 and 2023. Both math and reading scores started declining in 2012, and average scores now lower than they were prior to the pandemic. So again, what do you think is the driving cause here?
It's hard to say. There's so many factors, but it's undeniable that COVID is probably the main one. As an English professor, I've seen my freshmen skills decline in writing, in the ability to pay attention for long stretches of time, in the ability to get to class at all. I think that some of the online education of the COVID era taught kids that attendance isn't that important and that high marks are earned for attempting work rather than completing it and excellence.
Absolutely. Jackie, I want to bring you in here. I mean, look, I give that the pandemic certainly helped speed this up, but you go all the way back to when Obama was in office, when Arne Duncan was running the Department of Education. Even then, we had 80% of our public schools that were failing our students. You look now, again, from city to city here in New York City, over 70% of the black students are not doing math at grade level. Statewide, 60% of our children not actually reading at proficient levels. So we have to get to the reality, which is that we have a status quo that protects a broken system while our children, aided by technology, basically have to learn less and less to get by, which sets them up for failure long term.
I will politely disagree with your previous guest. I actually don't think this has to do with government's response to COVID. What I think it has to do is that during COVID, they had the perfect cover to really embrace racism and to embrace political activism and gender affirmation. And I think what we're seeing is a reflection that they have abandoned, teachers have abandoned traditional core curriculum. As you said, Joe, this has been a slow burn up until COVID. COVID gave them perfect cover, and it really went into full steam ahead during COVID, this abandonment of traditional core curriculum. That is why math, reading have dropped.
Absolutely. I've got 15 seconds for both of you. Adam, quick roundtable here. If there is something that we can focus on to help stemming this tide, what do you think it is?
Well, what we need is a response from the federal government. What we need is something like a modern Sputnik for education. There's three things. The first is the federal government needs to mandate year-round school until we get these trends reversed. They need to pay teachers stipends for the overtime. The second is we need to eliminate any elements of the curriculum that have to do with DEI, social justice, anything that doesn't deal with these critical skills. And the third is that cities and municipalities need to implement school choice policies that will divert resources and students from failing schools.
Absolutely. Jackie, last word to you here again. What can we do now, the bold step required to make sure we end up sending our children to failing schools year after year while the status quo, the gravy train, continues unabated?
Federal government is the problem. We should not rely on them to at all be involved in school. The teachers' unions are the problem. And there really is no such thing as school choice when private schools are opting into accreditation and they are acting the same as public schools minus the hefty tuition. They are also pulling gender affirmation. They are pushing equitable grading. This is a slippery slope. We really need to untangle ourselves from the teachers' unions that are creeping into private schools and away from the federal government.
Absolutely. Adam, Jackie, thank you so much for joining us.